Kindred Longevity Lifestyle Designers. This is Zach here, and it is Q&A on Sunday. And I'm going to get right into the questions because we've got a lot of them. The first one is from C2 Myers, and he's asking, could you tell us the best way to get iron? And iron is a very essential mineral, that's for sure. And it is found in a wide variety of different foods, and there's a lot of misconceptions about the fact that it's actually found in many plant-based foods, even though a lot of people think that you need to consume animal products to get it. Yes, animal products, a variety of them can be great sources, and especially what's touted as being a high source is red meat. However, in flesh-based foods, the iron that is in them is a heme iron, which means iron from blood. It's the blood of the animal that's sort of like coagulated and all putrid and dead in the animal, because it's been killed, obviously. And when you're consuming that, your body absorbs it from that. Now, the problem with that is heme iron, this iron from blood, is absorbed really quickly. So yes, they talk about it being more absorbable. However, your body just absorbs it regardless of it. And iron is actually a pro-oxidant, so it's not something we want to have too much of. We can overdose on it, and you get a variety of problems that can occur from that would be related to any other pro-oxidant. So like that's the opposite of an antioxidant. It's actually causing oxidative stress in your body. Now, plant foods that are very high in iron are basically all the greens. We know spinach is the common one people think of. But definitely the sprouts are high in iron. All the spirulina and chlorella are very high as well, all the algae. And perhaps one that not many people consider is raw cacao. And one small 28-gram serving, which is like just a few beans in your hand, and that could be like a few tablespoons of powder or nibs in a smoothie or elixir, and you're getting around three times the recommended daily allowance for iron. It's like 320-something%. So that's a lot. So this on top of everything else we're consuming, if we're consuming plant-based foods that like nuts and seeds and seaweeds and green juice and small amounts of fruit, etc., you're going to be getting plenty of iron. And you won't be overdosing on it either, because plant-based iron is what's known as non-heme iron, because it's made in a plant. And this allows for the body to regulate how much it's going to absorb. So yes, it's technically harder to absorb in the sense that your body just doesn't absorb it all at once, and it actually absorbs it slower. But your body's going to recognize if you have enough iron, it's just not going to absorb that much of it, or if any at all, because you don't need it. Lishy Bubbyver is asking what my thoughts are on liquid zeolites, and just quickly I'll say that don't go for the liquid zeolites not because there's anything wrong with zeolites. They're a fantastic cleansing and detoxifying compound. They're a volcanic clay that has like a cage-like molecule that traps, literally rendering radioactive material if you have that in your body. Heavy metals, any really toxic substances, makes them inert by forming this cage around them and carry them out of the body in stool, sweat, etc. So the best thing to go for, I think, is a powdered zeolite, whether it's encapsulated, such as Zeoforce from Health Force Nutritionals, because you're getting way more for the amount you're paying for. Zeoforce is pure zeolites, no fillers, excipients, etc. in capsules. You just look at the bottle, and it's big compared to a little, tincture bottle that's liquid with powder and suspension. There, you can't make an extract of volcanic clay, so it's not going to be any more potent. In fact, it's going to be very dilute, because you can only put so much of a powder into a liquid before it starts to settle out, and they don't allow for that because they don't want it to do that as a product that's sitting on a shelf. So you're getting, just a small amount compared to just a couple handfuls, maybe like a handful of capsules in a bottle in terms of the amount of zeolites you're getting. But you're paying, 2 or 3 times more than the bottle for this little tincture bottle. So just go for, a bag of zeolite powder. You can add it to water, or you can go for the Zeoforce from Health Force Nutritionals. Serene141, who goes by the name Mugda on YouTube, has asked my opinion on dealing with acne. And right off the bat, I'm going to say that I, as someone who focuses on longevity and health and creating those things, I don't choose to focus on providing cures or solutions to these things. However, I'm going to talk about it just to help you out here, but in the future I'm not going to be doing videos on these sorts of things because, one, I don't have the expertise in that because it's not what I focus on. There are other people online in the online communities, whether it's YouTube or somewhere else, that you can go to for help with that. So you were asking, is it high sugar, low fat, or high fat, low sugar that I want to do? And I'd say probably neither. You just want to go no sugar if you're looking to clear this up, and medium to low fat, depending on what you can do. And specifically, the two possibilities that you can have going on is hormonal imbalance and candida overgrowth, and it's almost always a combination of the two, perhaps one greater in terms of the severity than the other. And if there's going to be a candida overgrowth, you need to eliminate the sugars, the simple sugars from fruits, agave, honey, etc. And yes, your calories are going to come from, some fat. You don't want to overdo that, definitely, either. But also some protein, like you said, you thought I was going to suggest. And, your algae, your green juice, your seaweeds, your grass juice, anything high in protein. Go for some sunwater protein, buckwheat sprouts, other bean or grain sprouts. And also do all this in combination with some antifungal teas like pau d'arco and cascol. You can do in combination. Pau d'arco tastes great. You can find links for those right below. They have strong antimicrobial properties to help clear up this issue. And perhaps something you might also want to consider is what I've seen people get results with. Specifically, I have one person in mind who I'm not going to mention, but they were experiencing continual problems with acne or breakouts throughout their exploration of health. Even in raw food, they just never could quite get it handled completely. And it wasn't until they added some raw grass-fed local butter and cream and dairy into their diet, in whatever amount you feel comfortable with using, but specifically from Jersey cows, because that's a less hybridized breed than the Holstein, which is the black and white cow. The Jersey cow is a smaller cow that's hairier and brown. So if you can find some of those in your area, local that's unpasteurized, it's still raw, there's components in there that may be the key you're looking for to improving this issue. But again, you're also going to want to definitely do the no simple sugars for quite a while. And you could also use some colloidal silver type of a product that can help eliminate that candida overgrowth. And specifically, that's probably the butter and dairy is probably going to be helping with the hormonal issue, if that's more your predominant imbalance, and it's not so much the candida overgrowth, but the hormonal imbalance is going to require the things necessary to balance that. You can use maca and other things like that. Yeah, and then your next question is about doing some sort of a liver cleanse, because you were talking about liver issues, and we're looking specifically for one that's not so drastic. The whole drink a gallon of olive oil and lemon juice or whatever that is. That's a pretty intense cleanse, and I don't know if they recommend that all the time. I have done that one in the past with results, and maybe I'll do a video on that someday if I ever choose to explore that avenue again. But I'm not entirely convinced of its effectiveness. So you're right on that. Go for maybe an herbal cleanse like episode 139 on this channel. If you go back and just search my username with the #139, you're going to get the episode where I was talking about that. And I've done, just in the past, I actually recently finished my own liver flush with burdock root, dandelion root, yellow dock root, and milk thistle seed. I was doing that for 5 days in a row, then taking 1 or 2 days off, then doing it 5 days in a row, and just repeating that until my small amount of herbs that I bought were out. It took about 15, 16, 17 days total, and I felt great at the end of it. I can't emphasize enough the benefits that can come from just doing a simple thing like this. I mean, we're kind of getting to the end of spring, still spring technically, but the start of spring is really the time to do that, but you can still do that if you're looking to do sort of a liver tune-up, you could say. It gets bile flowing, it gets the silymarin and the milk thistle seed is very protective to the liver to prevent damage, while it's detoxifying and protecting it in the long run as well. And you can find links to those herbs below as well if you choose to purchase those from Mountain Rose Herbs.